Hey guys, Dantix here. Reviews are out and Deathloop is receiving 9s and even 10s. If you want to check out my review, follow the link in the description. Deathloop is the most fun I've had all year. It's entertaining, action-packed, and full of discovery. With that being said, there are definitely things I wish I knew before I started. So in this video, I'm bringing you my top 10 spoiler-free tips and tricks for new players. Let's begin. Turrets are basically invulnerable to your small arms, so you need a noisy grenade to take them out, unless, of course, you hack. However, standing in view of these turrets while you hack without a perk that speeds it up can be fatal. Instead, you can start the hack, hold the button in, and sidestep around some cover or a corner. It doesn't look like the hack is continuing, but it is. Looky here, now getting by those point-denying death traps is easy. It might be hard to keep it in mind during the heat of the moment, but the environment can be used to your advantage. Throw a glass to distract enemies, set off a firework, blow up canisters, set a candy gumball tripping hazard trap. Even a well-placed proximity mine can make life a lot easier, especially when you need to single out a visionary. Don't forget about your tools. You can be quite creative with them. One weapon you should get as early as possible is arguably the best gun in the game. This is also why it's the worst, as it will trivialize stealth to a point it will become a breeze. It's a purple rarity Limp 10 SMG. It comes with a suppressor and as such is completely silent when sneaking around. With a few trinkets, it becomes unstoppable. A single shot to the head will kill all enemies except visionaries, and it's an SMG so you can fire as much as you like. Combine this with your stealth slab Aether to breeze through. To get this gun, you need to go to the complex almost any time of the day and find this building. You can break in from the top. It's got a security system, so if you trip the blue lasers, you'll activate the turrets. You can preemptively disable them if you like using the trick I just told you, or simply use shift or Aether powers to get through them without setting them off. Turn off the security and grab the gun laying right here. Congrats, you've basically beaten the game. The Limp has fast fire rate, won't aggro everyone around when you shoot, and is powerful when hitting the head. In drawn out firefights, you might want to switch to something with some more oomph. Now, I mentioned headshots, but I really need to drive this point across. Headshots in Deathloop are extra potent. Body shots won't cut it, but most weapons will instantly kill when targeting the noggin. Take the extra time to line up the head instead of wildly spraying. Remain cool and calm, it may save your run. That being said, don't feel ashamed to run away, heal up, and regroup when you find yourself facing down a lot of enemies. You can usually funnel them into a better spot or avoid them completely. Don't feel obligated to play out every day. If there's a lead you specifically are following, say in the afternoon and you're in the morning, feel free to hold this button and wait until then. There's no time limit when you're in a level. You can explore until your heart's content, and there's no day limit. You can try and try again until you finish the game. The days just won't run out. You can do it for years. Sometimes it's best to find a great gun like the Limp 10 and enough Residuum, then start a new day. Speaking of Residuum, don't explore until you've followed the mainline lead that lets you harvest and use Residuum in order to bind gear to Colt. So they stay with you when you start a new day. This is called infusing. The game will be a lot harder than it needs to be, and time will be wasted, pun intended, if you're exploring without being able to harvest your primary resource. When you do get the ability, don't make the mistake I did. Once you bind an item to Colt, don't sacrifice it unless you want it gone forever, not just the run you're on. Only sacrifice items you haven't infused or have no intention of using or are banking. Do this liberally, as once a day resets, you can't take that Residuum with you. Balance sacrificing what you don't want and using the remaining Residuum on as much as you can, even on trinkets you won't use. It's like banking something to sacrifice when you find multiple shards or legendary weapons and don't quite have enough cash otherwise. Plus, what might not seem useful now may be useful later on. Speaking of useful later, don't sleep on the following trinkets. Mechanical Affinity makes your turrets absolute murder machines. Extended Signal lets you hack them from outside their range. Master Hacker lets you do it super quickly and hack enemy intercoms. And Mine Own lets you hack mines. This combination of trinkets is the perfect hacker build. You'll be able to sneak into an area, turn your enemy's turrets against them, and hack their devices so they can't sound the alarm. Even at the end game, I was swapping these trinkets to make some sections easier. You could also combine Swift Shadow with Creeping Death to become the stealthiest mofo around. It does significantly make you harder to detect and means you won't be forced to equip the Aether Slab to stay hidden in harder stealthy areas. Combine these trinkets with Backstabber and Personal Touch to become even more lethal in melee range. Executions are quiet and you'll be able to clear out an area no problem. I mentioned the Aether Slab. Chuck the Erase upgrade on it, which you get from Igor or Juliana, in order to not leave a trace of those you kill, which is incredibly useful as those patrolling enemies won't be alerted. Another good build is combining Renewable with Juiced Up. You'll have a crazy amount of energy to fire off Kinesis Blasts or even stealth around for an extended time. You can add any two trinkets on top of this, but I personally prefer Turtle Shell and Comeback Kid to make you harder to kill. If you get too used to having this much power and tank, you may get a little lazy though. The final combo I want to talk about is the Toxic Haze modded 4-pounder gun you can find on the visionary Harriet's dead body and the trinket Steel Lungs. You can shoot the ground or a wall next to you to heal with this combo, or take a more up close and personal approach to killing enemies, as the modded 4-pounder will put out toxic gas and you'll breathe it in to restore health. It's a lot of fun. This also works with the legendary Heritage Gun, which you can get for playing Charles' Reward Scheme, which you can follow as a lead. Getting it may require a guide of its own. My final tip is to follow every arsenal lead you find between tracking your main leads. They capstone to new powers and legendary weapons, all of which drastically increase the fun you have in the game. Just in general, spend a bit of time in the leads section. With that being said, it's time to capstone this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this guide, please drop me a like and a follow. It takes one clicky and makes a big difference. Love to hear any tricks you have, and for everything else Deathloop and RPG, keep your eyes on /Dantics. Ciao friends.